So we have a very interesting tarot astrology connection today. So I'm going to be talking about the conjunction that we have today between Neptune and Saturn at 0 degrees of Aries. As Rick Levine would say, it's a catalyst, a part of a big cosmic chain of reaction that's being set off at this point and has been being set off prior to this. It's part of this next step towards a grand sweep of these planets. These outer planets that represent change on a global, cosmic scale. And what we find is that we're moving from the water and earth energies of these outer planets. I should say the water and the earth energies of these planets into the fire and the air. So we can see with these cards that I'll be talking about how we can feel the difference between the two. And what Rick Levine is talking about with this idea of sweeping change, really, is that we're moving from the idea that Saturn is based in reality and Neptune, and it meets Neptune here at 0 degrees of Aries, and Neptune is representing illusion. And what he discusses is what if we have it all wrong? What if the clues are in the cards? And I'm just going to take the time to find the Capricorn card, the Devil card, because the Devil is ruled by Saturn. And I think it makes an important point in this idea that we may have got it all wrong. Let's have a look. We see here that we have the pentagram upside down. So the Devil is Capricorn, an earth sign. And what if this three-dimensional reality that we feel, the heaviness of Saturn, what if this represents the illusion? And it's actually Neptune. And we have the same thing. I'm going to pull out the Hanged Man card. Neptune is represented by the Hanged Man here. And again, he's suggesting to turn it around. So we have the upside down pentacle that we're almost called to turn over. We're called to kind of find some way of flipping it. So we look at Saturn and we look at Neptune, and both are telling us to turn them around. So what if it's this Saturn energy that is deceptive, that is the illusion, and the Neptune energy of imagination and dreams and the mists of illusion? What if that's more real? That's what we're trying to get to at this point as they meet at this 0 point of Aries. So Aries is the very beginning of the zodiac. It's like the birth of everything, almost like the birth of creation. We are back to that point with these two planets. And what's happening is at 0 degrees of Aries, brand new beginnings, where we find we're possibly flipping our script. We're turning the narrative around. And so what we start to appreciate is perhaps this Saturn element, this Saturn energy precipitates, this is Rick Levine's words, precipitates the mists of illusion that Neptune creates. But it doesn't make the illusions any less real. It doesn't make them untrue. It doesn't make the illusions false. What it does is it recognizes that before things form and take form, they start with a dream. Anything you've ever done in your life or created in your life has started with an idea, a thought, a dream. So here we have the energy of Saturn pulling us, precipitating the mists of illusion into a three-dimensional reality. So then which is the dream? Which is the illusion? And maybe none of them. Maybe it's all part of the same. But that's the energies that we're getting at this time. And Rick is also keen to point out that at this time, when these two come together, when we start to precipitate down these illusions, these dreams, you start to see them for what they are. And this time can bring disillusionment, because the illusions, the dreams have been made real, and they may not live up to quite what we thought they would be. So it's time to dare to dream again. So I hope I haven't complicated everything with that. But I loved his words. I loved the way he described these energies. And now I'm going to use that to translate these cards today. The King of Cups. King of Cups. I really get this sense of dreaming here. This quality of boundlessness. This idea of where can you sit in your authority and dare to dream. He's about to possibly dip his toes in, but he's not going to be taken over by emotions. Our King of Cups is not being swayed by emotions anymore. He's using that energy to dream, to create an illusion, if you like. But that illusion will become real. Our Queen is going to pull it down to earth. The influence of Saturn will pull those dreams into our reality, precipitate them into our lives. Our Queen of Pentacles also seems to be dreaming about what she can draw down from heaven to earth. And again, what we've got here is a king and a queen, both the masculine, outward expression of things and events and people, and the inward shifts of consciousness, of imagination, intuition, that are also going to occupy this incredible time. And so we have here the shift from the dreams and the Saturnian sort of restrictions, if you like, and limitations of this three-dimensional reality. And we're moving into the fire and the air energy. And we have here the King of Wands. Look at these. They are all court cards. This is all about you reaching a higher state, an elevated state. And that is exactly what this conjunction is precipitating, is starting to bring about. This shift in awareness, this shift in consciousness to elevate from these heavier earth and water-bound feelings, which can feel heavy and emotional, and we're moving instead to fire and air, lifting our spirits higher, looking at the cosmos rather than the ground. We're looking at the potential, the ideas that are untangible, instead of just what we see in the life in front of us. We start to recognize that perhaps this isn't all there is, that what we have here in our three-dimensional reality is the illusion. And actually there are worlds and realms above this, or not necessarily above, but beyond, more dimensions that we can access, and we will start to access as these energies start to really shape how we live and how we experience the world. So I hope that I haven't thrown you into a massive confusion with those cards and with my description. You'll have to forgive me. I'm a very sort of novice astrologer, but I love the way that it feeds into the cards, and I definitely see this astrology in all of the cards. So I hope that that brings to you a different way of appreciating the energies that we're experiencing right now, and also how we can understand the cards as ways of reflecting what's going on with these energies in this three-dimensional world. Have a wonderful day.